Well, hello my friends. Welcome back. Subject for today. Again, it's not going to be about how you mix, but what does something have to offer you? So, I've started already turning it, and I'm not 100% sure which way I want to go. I have an idea, but I don't know if that idea will pan out. But basis of this is don't be afraid to try out within being safe and seeing what any piece of wood has to offer and what you think you want to achieve, and not being afraid of losing a piece. Losing a piece not because it flies off, but losing a piece because you did something that didn't work is part of the development that we venture into and see what can it do. Can it give me something? Am I envisioning it correct? And you proceed, and if it works, it usually is a great reward. It's nice when you like it and a lot of other people like it as well, and I'm hoping that's the case here. But if I'm happy at the end, I've achieved what I wanted to. Then whatever other people however other people feel about it, it's a bonus, one way or the other. Get you on the to the lathe and show you what I got. Now I've just started this, and I looked at this piece and I know that it had a spot over here that was cut. This high spot had no bark, so the natural edge possibility was taken off the table because I don't like doing things that have bark and no bark, at least on the edge anyway. So if it's a natural edge, I try to maintain bark or no bark whatsoever. This has this huge divot. It has, I know that it has amazing character here. I know, anytime wood has these deformations, well, that deformation also reflects on the solid wood. So I'm going to work with that idea a little bit, and I could tour it all up and get rid of all of this and just make a straight edge top little bowl. But I don't think I want to go in that direction. So I'm going to be shaping this up, and so hopefully this becomes something that can be viewed as something that's acceptable, or it goes in a fire pit. Now you can see that this bowl has a lot more mass here than it does anywhere else. So I'll work with that a little bit. So what I see here right now is I got a nice character to this. Now, two options. I hollow it out the inside and have this pop through, and this would be a hole on the base of the bowl. with this inclusion, or I could leave it thicker and not interfere with this. Third option, actually. Or go a little bit deeper on the whole outside profile and not have as much of this indentation that I got here, and therefore leaving some of it on the outside but not on the inside. And initially I was aiming towards opening it up on the inside, and looking at the wood, looking at what it has going on and the character that's going through here, I am not going to go that route because I'm being a little bit conservative and am looking at saving this piece rather than experimenting with this piece. So therefore I'm going to play it a little bit safe. I'm going to round this over slightly, still maintaining a piece of this bark. I don't want to get rid of this bark. I don't want this to be all whatever the wood has to offer. I want the tree to live within this piece. So I'm just going to take off a little bit from this edge right here, leaving this bark inclusion, and hopefully from the back side I'll pick up the coloration, the back side of the bark a little bit, depending on how thick I go. So one more run in here before I flip it over. I'll do that and finalize the tenon. The wood grain on this piece is going to be really nice. Okay, I like that. Close to the base, that's fine. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose the slip to meet up with this. I'm going to work this up. Okay, a little bit more refining there, but I'm ready to flip this over, get a good grip on this. So I'm not slipping every once in a while on the worm screw. Not worm screw, the spur drive. And you can see every time it slipped, it kind of kept boring itself in. Okay, true up the face a little bit so I can have a little bit better balanced, speed it up, and make some final cuts out here. Looking at the shape, it's somewhat guiding me on a slightly different direction from the bowl. So actually on this one, I'm going to make it a hollow vessel. I'm kind of partial to this design for some reason. And I've talked about this in the past. We as individuals are more attracted to certain shapes than others, and we find one specific shape to be more appealing at times, and that defines a lot of times our work in on what we see. And with me, it's not necessarily a good thing because it locks my mind a little bit from venturing slightly different. And I'm sure that there are many options on which way I could go with this, and I'm seeing this and I'm liking that and staying stuck with that decision. Could I come all the way out here and make a nice looking bowl? Yes. You know, but it would be a small bowl. If I did that, it would highlight the area that I want to focus on, which is this bark area. To do it as a hollow vessel, I'm not going to be able to see that much on the inside, if I even see it at all. I would see it, but this type of a profile forces me to end up with a thicker outside wall automatically, because there's no way I can go with any type of a tool in there, create this sharp edge, and maintain a constant wall thickness. So with this type of a profile, what I would do is just come in slightly round over and stay fairly thick and work the inside to be a nice, or what I think would be a nice looking profile. So I mean, I want to show this off and I want to maintain this edge, and I can't have both. So I have to decide one or the other. And neither one of them is wrong. It's a matter of just choosing. Cutting it out here, making this a bowl, that's the simple and straightforward shot. No questions asked. You get what you're looking for. This creates a little bit more of a challenge. You have to hollow and you lose some of the effects. So I have to decide on which way I want to go. And I like the wood colors. I like the colors that are going through here. I think that looks really nice. If I made a wide lip and brought this further out here, it would still work and not give me as much of a hollow vessel and be able to see this. So I actually might do that. But either way, I'm going to maintain it this way, because once I cut it through here, I don't have that option anymore. So I'm going to refine the whole shape with keeping this in mind, and as I go, I will decide yes or no to this, or how much in I want to come in with this cutout. So back to it and refine it. Now I got a very sharp edge here, so I'm going to work that down a little bit. I like clean edges, but that's a little bit too sharp. Just break it down. Well, it's time to go in here. The cuts don't look too bad. It's time to go in here and clean it up a little bit. Well, it's time to come to the front and finalize the decision on which way to go with it. And I will start working it to the width that I got in there to get a good feel for what it's looking like before I decide that I'm going to take this away. Speed at 1200 RPMs. Well, so I'm not leaning over the lathe. I'm actually going to do a little bit of reverse turning on this. And I think I'm going to use this scraper combination. Well, during the turning process, I decided this was the shape that I wanted to maintain. I have sanded it down to 400 grit on sandpaper, and then the scouring pad, which I believe to be about 600. It feels pretty good. Applying Minwax sanding sealer, which is the sealer that I use all the time when I do use it, and I use it 90% of the time, 99%. Well, I use it about 90% of the time. When I started turning, I wasn't actually using any sanding sealer. I was trying to achieve a finish directly on the wood after sanding, and I came across this wood that Melaleuca, and when I came across it, I was so excited. It had some nice colors. I got home, I started turning, and no matter what I did, I could not achieve a shine. So Scott from Woodturning, a nice guy, check him out. Actually, posted a question. It's like, Al, are you using are you using the sanding sealer? I had never used sanding sealer before. It's like, no, not really. Which I wasn't. Well, I came out to the shed and I did another piece. And of course I applied sanding sealer, and ever since I've been using sanding sealer because it made the difference night and day. Sanding sealer will make it or break it on your finishes. Well, after applying the sanding sealer and waiting a couple of minutes, which I'm going to still wait a little bit, I wet sand it with anything from 1200 to 2000 grit, and all it is just to cut down, to kind of wash down the vase. It's not even to cut down anything. Well, it's time to wet sand it. I kind of like it when I'm able to maintain a little bit of this. And you might not like that, but I kind of do. So I leave it on in many cases. Now, you know that it would be very easy for me to just go in a little bit deeper there and eliminate it. So it's one of those decisions that we make. You know, one advantage of having multiple size jaws, which I don't have pin jaws, which I will need at some time. But between my jumbos and the 50 millimeter, I generally, when I'm making these, I work it where it's going to work into the size of one of them. So I can go reverse chuck this on expansion mode. Not a lot of pressure, nothing that's going to split up the piece, but it will keep me true. And it will give me enough of a hold to go very lightly and work the foot area. And on this case, that's how I'm going to finalize this. Application is with a paper towel. I apply it, sometimes with the lathe going, sometimes with it going slow. So I find it easier if the lathe is going slowly. Just want to spread it equally, make sure I got a nice, that everything is covered. Go a couple of times back and forth on it before the buff. And when you feel that you got it pretty good, speed it up. Speeding it up to about 1200 RPMs. Now I know it's not gonna break records on shine, but I know it's a very, very nice finish. I know it's a beautiful piece of wood. Beautiful. Beautiful wood grain, beautiful colorations, and everything else. Well, I'm ready to pop this off the chuck and do reverse turn. And sometimes I'm lucky enough that the same chuck, same setup I got is enough for me to do a reverse. Now, look at that. I mean, is it recommended? No, but you know, we gotta make things work for us. So, in my case, I'm going right over the jaws all the way up to here, and it's gripping back here, and just apply a little bit of pressure. And I'm flat against the shoulders of the piece, of the my jaws. So I know that I got a pretty good grip over there. It's not made to be aggressive or to do a whole bolt turning because you don't have any type of a taper or anything like that, but definitely enough to work all of this. Let me bring it to the back and show you what's going on. Now I can bring the live center in here, and that will make things a little bit easier. So while I'm doing the bulk of it, then I will remove the live center once I get close to where I need it to be. Now I'm going to take it all the way down from here, eliminate this, step over here, but maintain the whole height of the piece, and then just true up the bottom with a little concave. Now, this piece, to me, is going to be a little bit special because it's going to be the first piece that I will be incorporating my bottom signature piece. In this case, I'm going to use a Portuguese coin. Being my heritage, I will use that. And this is 1984, and it's 5 escudos. The symbol on this, which is on a Portuguese flag as well, but these little marks over here are the indicating the 7 castles of Portugal. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if my history serves me correct. I forgot what the Santa Cross is for, but I believe it was the adventure of the Crusaders back in the day. And of course, the ship is because Portugal's history of sea explorations, like Vasco da Gama, and his travels to India for trades. So that's what this particular one is going to go over here. Here's the size that I need, and this fastener bit is just a tad oversized, and the next one under is a tad under, and this makes for a little bit of a dilemma. I don't want that kind of a gap, which is a 1/16 of an inch difference on this. So if I have to, I will do it. Yep, I'm going to be doing this freehand. So close it up to size. I'll mark it up with my calipers and use my parting tool to set this in. I do have different values, different coins, different sizes. Some of them I'm not too fond of, and some of them are pretty big, and I will save the bigger ones for bigger pieces that I have slightly larger bases on. But for this one, I think that will work out just fine. that's going to do it. And I'm going to apply it with a little bit of medium CA. And I'm going to put the ship to the outside for my... The wording is in Portuguese on the front, which is Republic of Portugal. Like any other coin. But with me, like I said, it just symbolizes my heritage, nothing else. And this should actually give it a little bit of a polish. Without scuffing it up. It's time to buff it. And here we are. A spectacular finish on this. Really, really nice finish. And look at this coloration of this wood that's going through here. I could not ask for this to turn out any better. Just beautiful, beautiful. Character. Amazing. The light spalting going through and the oh my god. Guys, I am glad. I'm glad that I decided to go that route. Even though I changed it a little bit from my initial thought on how I was gonna end it up, or how far it was gonna go, or you know, I had a few unsure things, or areas that I really wasn't sure as to how I was going to finish it. But deciding on what we do with something is as much fun as it is turning something. So, but without committing to any specific is the key, because once you commit, that's it. So take your time, look at as to what's developing, and see what you think might be the best results for that particular piece. Well, for this particular piece, the results and the decisions, I think, were pretty good and sound. this really adds quite a bit to the whole piece. So I could have taken it off, but it was a decision to keep it on. The Portuguese Vesel sail ship. You know, my dad was in the Portuguese Navy, and he used to actually be on a tall ship that cruises over here, which is Sagres, I believe. He was a sailor there, and I've met some of his old Navy buddies many years ago who came over to my house, and a reunion with my dad. So with that, I think that's what I need to do with all my pieces in memory of him. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again.